What's up guys, it's NTR here. Goku vs Gojo was a massive and still to this day is quite the big topic in the debate community. This is obviously because Goku is massively considered to be quite the powerhouse, and Gojo himself does have a very unique set of abilities that would make him quite a tough opponent for most characters, on his level at least. But after having many debates around the topic and even do a little bit of research myself, I thought it'd be a good idea to make a video on why I think it will be completely one-sided on Goku's favor with the assistance of my buddy Striker. But without any further ado, let's get straight into it. During his fight with Beerus, Son Goku's clashes were capable of surpassing the very macrocosm, even threatening to destroy the entire thing. The Universe 7 macrocosm is capable of containing the main universe, the other world, and many other space-time continuums within it. Goku then becomes billions of times more powerful and starts fighting beings like Zamasu, who have been stated by multiple characters multiple times to be capable of destroying the entire parallel world or timeline. Goku even ends up surpassing the levels of fighters within the Broly movie who were stated to be so strong that they were able to have battles that were considered super dimensional. For those who don't know, the Japanese term Chojigen, which translates as super dimensional, is supposed to imply that something transcends dimensions. At the very least, the ones that were previously known to exist. The statement comes from the Broly movie anime comic, which is the canonical rendition of the events for the manga. From what I've provided here, Goku's power reaches anywhere from between the multiversal to high multiversal plus ranges, aka he's a pretty strong dude. As for speed, there are many incredible speed feats within Dragon Ball that Goku just becomes thousands on top of millions of times faster than later on in the series. Some of these feats include reacting to the higher up-to-date models of spaceships within the verse. For comparison, Baby Goku was able to utilize an extremely outdated and tiny spaceship model to go from all the way from planet Vegeta to Earth. Planet Vegeta is depicted as being pretty much on the opposite side of the universe in comparison to Earth. Obviously, for consistency's sake, we'll assume that this depiction is more so showing the position in the observable universe, as it would be pretty absurd to say that, Goku's spaceship is infinite speed, considering the universe is said to be infinite multiple times by guide statements. From the depiction, a fair lowball would be to say that Planet Vegeta and Earth's distance is comparable to about half the size of the observable universe. The spaceship of course would have had to have done this within the span of 3 days, or else Goku would have died of dehydration. So crossing around 4.6 billion light years within the span of 3 days would get you to about 5.7 trillion times the speed of light. And now we'll segue into my buddy Striker taking care of the Gojo scaling for the time being.
Now when talking about Gojo's AP, it should be pretty clear that he's way weaker than Goku. Prior to the release of recent chapters, the highest you could scale Gojo realistically was around island level. Seeing as he's superior to numerous characters that are stronger than Dagon, who created an island with his domain expansion. Using the domain constructs for scaling can be contentious, but newer chapters gave us a feat that blows this way out of the water. In a last-ditch effort to defeat Kenjaku, Yuki Tsukumo creates a black hole that was so powerful that it would have destroyed the entire world had she not suppressed it along with Tengen. This implies that the black hole is planetary, and Gojo should obviously scale over this since it's stated numerous times that he's the strongest Jujutsu sorcerer, which of course includes Yuki Tsukumo. Now a good point to bring up is that we don't know what attack Gojo would use to reach this level of power, since the current Gojo has yet to go all out so far in the series. But to give Gojo the benefit of the doubt, we'll assume his attacks overall would scale over this at full power.
Now anyone who's dealt with Gojo scaling in any fashion has probably heard the argument for him having inaccessible to immeasurable speed via moving in the prison realm. My issue is that it's narratively inconsistent for Gojo to have speeds that fast, and the series outright debunks this idea. One reason being that it's verbatim stated by the narrator that Gojo cannot perform Black Flash at will, as no Jujutsu sorcerer can perform Black Flash at will. The reason this affects speed is because the entire point of Black Flash is to be able to input curse energy within a set time interval. If Gojo had the ability to move at inaccessible to immeasurable speeds, he would always be moving within those time intervals whenever he's fighting, meaning all he would have to do to perform Black Flash at will was simply input curse energy right after a punch from his perspective, because he would always be in those time intervals. In fact, entire fights that he would be in with people relative to him would be in those time intervals. So if he has to rely on doing so instinctively, as of course he is not fast enough to perceive, think, or react in those speeds consciously, then he cannot be inaccessible to immeasurable speeds.
Another problem with Prison Realm is that Gojo has a direct contradictory feat right before he gets sealed. After the domain expansion of 0.2 seconds, Gojo kills around 1,000 transfigured humans in 299 seconds. Or in other words, it took him finite time to kill finite enemies, which directly conflicts with an inaccessible or immeasurable speed rating.
Well, good job, we've pointed this all out, but how is Gojo able to move in the prison realm without inaccessible to immeasurable speed? Most of you are probably wondering. Well, as you know by now, Gojo has the ability to manipulate space and possibly space-time at an atomic level. Time is simply an effect or quality of space. They are interlinked in that way. So what's likely happening here is that a part of Gojo's spatial manipulation also allows him to manipulate time, which we already know to an extent that he does, because part of the Achilles of the tortoise paradox that he references is tied to his ability is the fact that Achilles does slow down as he approaches the turtle. And it's not that odd for Gojo to have spatial abilities outside the natural set that he constantly references, as he's also able to teleport, which is something he's never actually explained, but is obviously due to his spatial manipulation. But anyway, the takeaway from this should be that it's more narratively consistent for Gojo to be resisting the timelessness of the prison realm due to his spatial manipulation, which allows him to resist space-time based hacks on some levels.
Gojo, while being the strongest sorcerer, is also implied narratively to be the fastest sorcerer as well. For example, when the narration goes over the rumors of Naobito being the fastest sorcerer, Gojo himself is specifically excluded from this. This most relevantly makes him faster than the likes of Kinji Hakari, who can react to Kashimo's lightning attack. With some pixel scaling magic, this feat has been calculated to be over Mach 4760, which ultimately is still way slower than Goku.
Now the part you've all probably been waiting for. How would Goku get past Gojo's infinity? Ironically enough, instead of saying how would Goku get past the infinity, it's probably more accurate to say how would the infinity even reach him. If you remember previously, Goku's energy was able to reach beyond the very macrocosm, even threaten to destroy it. Gojo's energy has only ever been shown to work within the universe and work within its three-dimensional aspects. If you think of spacetime as a graph, Gojo's infinity has only ever been shown to work within singular points within the graph, whereas Goku's energy has completely transcended and exceeded the graph entirely, working outside it, and is even capable of ripping that same graph apart. Basically, Goku's energy functions on a completely different level of spacetime that Gojo has never shown the range of affecting. What makes this even worse is that Goku's energy has been implied to be of a dimensional level above even that, with Gojo's infinity only being shown to work on 3-dimensional levels and Goku's energy going towards the 4th to 5th dimensional levels. It'd be like comparing 0 to 1. In fact, that's scarily accurate. Gojo's infinity would be functioning on a level where it would basically be 0 in comparison to the energy that Goku would be emitting, which would be the 1. Stack an infinite amount of zeros on top of 1, you're not going to do anything to it. So yeah, Goku's energy would probably just ignore the infinity, or at the very least would just rip it apart and attack Gojo directly. So with all this laid out, I think the fight should be pretty clear. There's really nothing within Gojo's arsenal that can beat Goku. Hollow Purple, Speed Blitz in one shot. Domain Expansion, Speed Blitz in one shot. And this isn't to say that Gojo Satoru sucks, but Goku's simply just better. Be sure to follow me and Striker on TikTok and on YouTube. Big shout out to Divine for editing this video, he did a really great job. My Discord server is linked on my TikTok, so go check that out as well. And without any further ado, antagonist out.